The price of progress. Captain Sarah Chen stood at the observation deck of the colony ship Genesis, watching the last status reports scroll across her neural interface. The massive vessel carried humanity's desperate gamble, 10,000 colonists in cryo-sleep, fleeing a Earth that could no longer sustain them. Their destination, HD 778,932, promised everything they needed: breathable atmosphere, liquid water, and most importantly, isolation from the growing political chaos of the Sol system. Final diagnostic complete, Captain Lieutenant James Rivera announced, his voice steady despite the weight of the moment. All systems nominal. Cryopods maintaining optimal conditions. Sarah nodded, her augmented eyes scanning the endless stream of data. The Genesis represented humanity's most advanced achievement, a self-sustaining ecosystem wrapped in titanium and carbon composites, powered by antimatter engines that defied conventional physics. They had burned the last of Earth's rare resources to build it, a fact that still haunted her. "Begin final approach sequence," she ordered. The bridge crew moved with practiced precision, their neural interfaces synchronizing with the ship's systems. They had trained for this moment for 3 years, though nothing could truly prepare them for what came next. The warning came without preamble. Every display on the bridge flared crimson, and a sound Sarah had never heard before, a deep, resonating pulse, filled the air. At first, she thought it was a system malfunction. Then the message appeared, projected in crystalline clarity before them. A team-to-un human vessel. UAVENTORED protectorate space. This system is under the jurisdiction of the Galactic Federation. CAC all propulsion and PRE for inspection. Multiple contacts, Rivera shouted, emerging from behind the third moon, energy signatures off the scale. They materialized like liquid mercury taking form, ships of impossible grace and power, each larger than the Genesis. Their hulls seemed to bend light itself, creating phantom reflections that confused both sensors and human eyes. Sarah felt her artificial heart skip a beat as the tactical display rendered their true scale. "How did we miss them?" she whispered, though she already knew the answer. Their survey probes had shown an empty system, perfect for colonization. But these beings clearly possessed technology that could hide entire fleets from human detection. "Captain," Rivera's voice cracked, "they're powering weapons systems." Sarah's mind raced. 10,000 lives depended on her next decision. The Genesis carried no meaningful weapons. They had sacrificed military capability for living space and sustainability. Fighting wasn't an option. Running might be possible, but their antimatter engines would take precious minutes to reach full power. "This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth vessel Genesis," she broadcast. "We are a civilian colony ship seeking shelter. We mean no harm and request asylum." The response came instantly. "Nini Gata. This system is TLOC'd to primitive species colonization. Return to your origin point or FAC immediate termination." Sarah felt ice in her veins. Return wasn't an option. They had barely enough antimatter for planetfall, let alone a journey back to a dying Earth. The crew's neural interfaces hummed with shared anxiety, their linked consciousness amplifying the fear. "Ma'am," Rivera pointed to a secondary display, the asteroid belt. "Our sensors are picking up unusual radiation patterns, could provide cover while we figure out options." Sarah studied the dense field of rocks that formed a natural barrier between the inner and outer system. The Federation ships were arranged in an attack formation that left a subtle gap, perhaps intentionally, toward that very region. It was a desperate gambit, but they were out of alternatives. "Plot a course through the densest section," she ordered. "Divert all power to shields and inertial dampeners. And wake up Dr. Patel's team. If we're going to hide in that belt, we'll need our best engineers conscious." The Genesis's engines flared to life, and Sarah felt the familiar push of acceleration through her augmented bones. As they accelerated toward the asteroid field, she opened a ship-wide channel. "This is your captain speaking. Our journey has taken an unexpected turn, but our mission remains the same. Humanity survived on Earth through countless catastrophes because we adapted. We evolved. We found ways to live where others saw only death. Today, we'll do it again. We'll make our home among the stones if we have to, but we will survive. We will thrive. And someday we'll show this galaxy that humanity deserves its place among the stars." The first asteroids loomed before them, ancient rocks tumbling through the void. Behind them, the Federation ships moved to pursue, their weapons charging. Sarah Chen took one last look at the garden world they had hoped to call home, then turned her full attention to the maze of stone and ice ahead. They would need every ounce of skill and technology they possessed to survive the next few hours. Humanity's next great adaptation was about to begin. Among the stones, 6 months into their exile, the Genesis had become something its designers never intended. The massive colony ship now resided within the hollowed core of a metallic asteroid nearly 15 kilometers in diameter, its systems integrated with a growing network of tunnels and chambers carved from the ancient rock. Dr. Yuki Patel stood in what they now called the integration hub, her neural interface processing the constant stream of data from the mining drones. Teams of engineers and scientists worked around her, their augmented reality displays filling the chamber with ghostly blueprints and system diagnostics. "The new mineral processors are operating at 93% efficiency," she reported to Captain Chen, who had just emerged from one of the newly constructed transit tubes. "We're extracting enough rare elements to maintain our essential systems and even begin some experimental fabrication." Sarah Chen had changed since their desperate flight into the asteroid belt. Like many of the colonists, she'd adapted to their new reality with characteristic human determination. The neural augments that once simply helped her interface with ship systems now connected her to a vast network of sensors and drones that kept their hidden civilization functioning. "Show me the latest survey data," Sarah requested. A holographic map materialized between them, displaying the complex network of asteroids they now called home. Hundreds of red dots indicated Federation patrol routes, while green markers showed their growing network of sensor arrays and resource collection points. "The Federation's search patterns are becoming more predictable," Sarah observed. "They're systematic, but they're also making assumptions about what they're looking for. They expect refugees to behave like refugees, desperate, disorganized, easy to find." Yuki nodded. "They don't understand how quickly humans can adapt. The asteroid's natural radiation masks our power signatures, and our new metamaterial coating makes the surface look completely natural to their scanners. But that's not what I called you here to see." She gestured, and the hologram shifted to display a cross-section of their asteroid. Deep within one of the newly excavated chambers, a pulsing blue light indicated an anomaly. "We found this yesterday while expanding the hydroponics section. Well, you should see it yourself." The transit tube carried them to the discovery site, where a team of researchers had established a temporary lab. The chamber walls were different here, smoother, almost artificial in their precision. And embedded within them, perfectly preserved, were structures that could only have been created by intelligent beings. "We're not the first," Yuki said quietly. "Someone else tried to hide here, long ago. Look at these patterns. They're not just decorative. They're mathematical sequences, engineering diagrams. Whoever left these behind, they were teaching something to whoever found them." Sarah ran her augmented hands over the ancient markings. Her neural interface hummed as it attempted to decode the patterns. "How old?" "Based on mineral degradation. At least 50,000 years. But that's not the most interesting part." Yuki directed their attention to a series of crystals embedded in the wall. "These are data storage devices, but they're unlike anything we've seen. They use quantum states to store information in a way that, well, it makes our most advanced systems look primitive." "Can we read them?" "We're trying. The principles are actually similar to our neural interfaces, just far more advanced. We think they were designed to be found and understood by other species, like a library or a school. Sarah absorbed this information, her tactical mind already considering the implications. So we're not just hiding anymore. We're learning, growing stronger. Exactly. And there's more. Yuki brought up another hologram, this one showing energy readings from deeper in the asteroid belt. We're detecting similar signatures from other asteroids. This whole region might be filled with preserved knowledge from whoever came before us. A message flashed across their neural feeds, urgent communication from the sensor network. Lieutenant Rivera's voice filled their minds. Captain, we've detected a new patrol pattern. 3 Federation vessels, moving through Sector 7. They'll pass within detection range of mining site Beta in 18 hours. Sarah's expression hardened. Shut down all external operations. Pull in the drones and miners. Switch to passive sensors only. She turned to Yuki. How close are we to implementing those metamaterial improvements you mentioned last week? The prototypes are ready, but we haven't tested them at scale. No time like the present. I want every exposed surface covered before those ships arrive. We've come too far to be discovered now. Sarah took one last look at the ancient writings on the wall, and double the research team studying these artifacts. If someone left us a manual for surviving out here, I want to know everything that's in it. As they left the chamber, the ancient crystals continued their silent vigil, waiting to share their secrets with these newest refugees among the stones. Humanity had come here seeking mere survival, but they were finding something far more valuable. Knowledge that could transform them from hunted fugitives into something the Federation never expected them to become. The Hunter's Shadow. Lieutenant James Rivera watched the Federation warship glide past their asteroid, its crystalline hull refracting starlight like a predator's scales. From his observation post in a carefully concealed sensor station, he could see the alien vessel's search patterns becoming increasingly precise. The hunters were learning. Analysis complete, his neural interface reported, processing the latest scan data. They've upgraded their detection systems. Previous masking protocols are now only 70% effective. Through their shared network, he felt Captain Chin's immediate response. Show me. The data flowed between them. Complex energy signatures that revealed how the Federation's technology was evolving to counter their concealment methods. For 18 months, they'd played this game of hide and seek among the asteroids, but the stakes were getting higher. Dr. Patil needs to see this, Sarah decided. Their new scanning technology shares similarities with the artifacts we've been studying. Maybe that's not a coincidence. In the research hub, deep within their asteroid home, Yuki Patil and her team had made breakthrough after breakthrough studying the ancient alien technology. The chamber now housed a complex array of hybrid devices, part human innovation, part reversed engineered alien science. They're not just looking for us anymore, Yuki concluded, analyzing the scan data. These search patterns, they're looking for the artifacts. They must have figured out what we found. Sarah's expression tightened. Can they detect them? Not yet. The quantum storage crystals are naturally stealth. That's probably why they were chosen as a preservation medium. But the Federation ships are getting closer to the right detection frequencies. When they find them, she left the implications unspoken. The Genesis colony had grown in ways none of them had expected. What started as a desperate hiding place had become a thriving civilization. The asteroid's tunnels now housed hydroponic gardens, manufacturing centers, and research laboratories. Children born in space played in artificial gravity wells, their bodies already adapting to life among the stones. But all of it depended on remaining hidden. We've learned so much, Yuki continued, gesturing to her latest project, a device that combined human neural interface technology with principles gleaned from the artifacts. The beings who left these teachings, they weren't just sharing technology. They were sharing a philosophy about how different species could coexist, learn from each other. The Federation's ideology of separation and control, It goes against everything in these records. A priority alert flashed through their neural network. Lieutenant Rivera's voice carried tension. 3 more Federation ships just entered the sector. New design, bigger than anything we've seen before. Energy readings are off the charts. Sarah accessed the sensor feeds, her augmented mind processing the tactical situation. The new vessels were unlike the usual patrol craft. These were built for heavy assault, designed to crack open asteroids if necessary. They're done searching, she realized. They're ready to start destroying. The command staff gathered in the integration hub, neural interfaces linking their thoughts into a strategic mesh. The holographic displays showed their situation in stark detail. Federation forces methodically moving through the asteroid field, their new weapons capable of obliterating any rock that might hide human refugees. We've got maybe 2 weeks before they reach this sector, Rivera calculated. Even with our latest stealth systems, we can't hide from that level of scrutiny. Then we don't hide, Sarah declared. The statement sent ripples of surprise through their shared consciousness. We've spent 18 months learning, adapting, growing stronger. The artifacts haven't just taught us about technology. They've shown us that we're part of a larger pattern. Other species have faced this choice before: surrender to the Federation's vision of the galaxy, or fight for the right to exist on their own terms. Yuki stepped forward, her eyes bright with realization. The quantum storage crystals, they're not just data archives, they're keys. Look at these sequences we decoded last week. They're not theoretical physics, they're weapons specifications, defensive systems, the means to fight back. Understanding spread through the command staff. The ancient refugees hadn't just hidden knowledge, they'd preserved the tools that their successors would need to challenge the Federation's dominance. How quickly can we adapt these designs to our existing systems? Sarah asked. With the whole colony working on it, maybe 10 days. But Sarah, this isn't just about survival anymore. If we do this, if we use this knowledge, we're taking a stand. We're saying that humanity deserves a place in this galaxy, whether the Federation agrees or not. Captain Chen looked around the chamber at her crew, at the faces of men and women who had transformed a desperate flight into a new chapter of human civilization. Through their neural link, she felt their determination, their readiness to move beyond mere survival. Send word through the colony, she ordered. Tell everyone to prepare for Phase 2. We're done running. It's time to show the Federation that humanity isn't just another primitive species to be controlled or discarded. We're the ones they should have been afraid of finding out here among the stones. As the orders went out, the ancient crystals in their vaults pulsed with renewed energy, as if recognizing that their long-dormant purpose was finally being fulfilled. The hour of hiding was ending. The time for revolution had begun. Children of the Void. Maya Chen was born among the stones, and the Void was her playground. At 16, she moved through zero gravity with an instinctive grace that made the original Earthborn colonists stare in wonder. Her neural interfaces weren't just augmentations. They were part of her from birth, allowing her to communicate with the asteroid systems as naturally as breathing. Contact, she whispered, both through her voice and the quantum-enhanced network that connected the colony. Her consciousness extended through the sensor mesh, detecting something unusual at the edge of their territory. Unknown signature, Sector 12. Not Federation. In the command center, her mother, Captain Sarah Chen, received the alert instantly. The tactical display transformed, showing the anomalous readings. After 2 years of hiding and preparation, any deviation from the known patterns demanded immediate attention. Analysis, Sarah requested, her thoughts reaching out to the sensor team. Maya's response came with the precision of someone born into a world of constant vigilance. Small vessel, using stealth technology similar to ours. They're following the Federation patrol routes, but they're hiding from them too. Dr. Patel's consciousness joined the neural link. The quantum harmonics in their drive signature, they're using technology derived from the artifacts. Just like us. The implications rippled through the colony's shared awareness. They weren't alone in their resistance to Federation control. The ancient knowledge they'd discovered had been found by others, used by others, perhaps many times over the millennia. They're changing course, Maya reported, moving deeper into the belt. Their trajectory will bring them near Storage Cluster 7. Sarah made a quick decision. Maya, take a reconnaissance team. Your generation knows these asteroids better than anyone. If these are potential allies, we need to make contact before the Federation patrol sweeps back through this sector. The teenager assembled her team through the neural network, all of them void-born, all of them enhanced from birth with the hybrid technology that blended human innovation with ancient alien science. They moved through the asteroid belt using small craft that were nearly invisible to conventional sensors, their bodies adapted to maneuvers that would incapacitate standard humans. They found the unknown vessel hiding in the shadow of a tumbling rock, its design unlike anything they'd seen before. Its hull seemed to ripple with patterns that mimicked the surrounding space, making it nearly invisible to the naked eye. They know we're here, Maya transmitted to her team. Their sensors are active, but not hostile. They're curious. A transmission reached them, carried on frequencies that the Federation never used. The language was unknown, but the patterns were familiar, mathematical sequences similar to those found in the artifacts. Maya's neural interface began processing the communication, finding common ground between two species that had learned from the same ancient teachers. We are the Forgotten. The translation finally emerged. We saw how you used the knowledge. We've been watching, waiting, hoping you would understand its true purpose. Through their secure quantum link, Maya conversed with the alien vessel. The Forgotten, she learned, were one of several species that had discovered the artifacts over the centuries. They had all faced the same choice: submit to Federation control or find their own path among the stars. There are more of us, the Forgotten explained, scattered through this sector and others. All of us learning, growing stronger, preparing. The Federation's dominion is built on the lie that younger species must be controlled, contained. But the artifacts tell a different story. Maya felt her mother and Dr. Paddle joining the conversation through their enhanced neural network. The tactical implications were enormous. They weren't just a single colony fighting for survival. They were part of a hidden movement that had been growing in the shadows of the Federation for generations. The Ancient Ones, the Forgotten continued, they didn't just leave us technology. They left us a choice: accept the restraints placed upon us by others, or prove ourselves worthy of true independence. Your people, you didn't just survive here. You evolved. Your children are proof that the Federation's fundamental beliefs are wrong. Maya looked at her team. Young humans born in space, their bodies and minds adapted to an environment that should have killed them. Through their shared neural link, she felt their pride, their readiness, their understanding of their place in this cosmic drama. Your generation, Sarah told her daughter through their private channel, you're not just survivors anymore. You're what humanity can become when we're pushed to our limits. The Federation fears that most of all. The Forgotten ship transmitted again. There are others coming. More ships, more species who have found the knowledge. The Federation's patrols are growing more aggressive because they sense what's coming. A revolution not of weapons, but of evolution, of species reaching their true potential without the Federation's restrictive guidance. Maya extended her consciousness through their quantum-enhanced systems, feeling the pulse of their asteroid civilization. The hydroponics bays where plants evolved to thrive in artificial gravity, the laboratories where human and alien science merged into something new, the nurseries where the next generation of void-born children were already showing signs of even more advanced adaptation. We're ready, she responded to the Forgotten vessel. We've learned what the artifacts were trying to teach us. The Federation didn't find a group of helpless refugees hiding in the asteroids. They found the next step in human evolution. And we're not alone anymore. As if in response to her words, new signals appeared at the edge of their sensor range. More ships, carrying more species who had found their own paths among the stars. The time of hiding was ending. The children of the void were about to show the galaxy what humanity could become when pushed to evolve beyond all expected limits. Breaking chains, the Federation warships hung in space like a wall of crystalline daggers, their weapons charged and ready. Behind them, the garden world that had once been humanity's intended home glowed softly in the starlight. Before them, the asteroid belt seemed empty and lifeless, just another cluttered region of space to be controlled and contained. They were wrong. Captain Sarah Chen stood on the command deck of what had once been the Genesis, now transformed into something far beyond its original design. The colony ship systems had been integrated with technology recovered from the artifacts, its hull restructured with metamaterials that could bend both light and space itself. All resistance cells reporting ready, Lieutenant Rivera announced, his consciousness linked to the quantum communication network that connected their scattered allies. The Forgotten have positioned their fleet in Sector 7. The Nexeri and Varine ships are in position behind the outer moons. Dr. Patel's voice joined the neural link. Quantum resonance generators are charged. The Federation won't be able to retreat into hyperspace once we activate the field. Through their shared awareness, Sarah felt the readiness of her people. The original colonists had transformed themselves through neural interfaces and genetic adaptation. Their void-born children, like Maya, represented an entirely new expression of human potential. They were no longer refugees. They were revolutionaries. The Federation believes they're here to purge a group of primitive refugees, Sarah transmitted to all allied ships. They're about to learn that their policy of containment and control has created something they never expected: unity among the species they tried to keep apart. Maya's voice came through the command link. Scout teams reporting Federation ships are moving into final attack position. They're preparing to begin systematic asteroid destruction. Remember, Sarah broadcast to all resistance vessels, we're not just fighting for humanity's right to exist in this galaxy. We're fighting for every species that's been told they're not ready, not worthy, not advanced enough to determine their own path. The artifacts showed us a different way, not dominance, but cooperation, not control, but shared growth. The Federation's initial broadcast came exactly as expected. This is your final warning. This system is under protectorate authority. All unauthorized species will be removed. Resistance is. They never finished the sentence. At Sarah's command, every asteroid in the belt suddenly shed its camouflage. Hundreds of ships, human, forgotten, Nexeri, Varine, and a dozen other species, emerged from their hiding places. The quantum resonance field activated, preventing retreat into hyperspace. The trap was sprung. This is Captain Sarah Chen of the Free Species Alliance. She transmitted on all frequencies. For too long, the Federation has claimed the right to decide which species are worthy of the stars. Today, that changes. We are not primitive. We are not unauthorized. We are the future you tried to prevent. The battle that followed would be studied for generations. The Federation's superior numbers meant nothing against the combined innovations of species that had learned to survive against all odds. Human neural interface technology, merged with forgotten stealth systems and Nexeri quantum weapons, created fighting forces that could outmaneuver any conventional fleet. Maya led squadrons of void-born pilots through maneuvers that seemed to defy physics, their enhanced bodies and hybrid ships moving as one through space. The Forgotten ships phased through Federation attacks like ghosts. Nexeri quantum weapons disrupted the very fabric of space around their targets. But it was Dr. Patel's final innovation that proved decisive. Using principles learned from the artifacts, she had developed a way to temporarily disable the Federation's neural networks. In an instant, their perfectly coordinated fleet became scattered individual ships, their crews forced to rely on primitive manual controls. They're retreating to secondary positions, Rivera reported, tracking the Federation forces as they fell back in disarray. Their command structure is completely disrupted. Through the quantum network, The leaders of the resistance species convened in virtual space. The Federation's defeat here would send shockwaves through the galaxy. Other suppressed species would learn that evolution and growth couldn't be contained by arbitrary rules and restrictions. "Send the transmission," Sarah ordered. Throughout the sector, on every frequency the Federation used to maintain control, their message began to spread. To all species labeled as primitive, unauthorized, or unworthy, you are not alone. The Federation's time of judgment is over. Find us among the stars. Evolution cannot be contained. Maya's consciousness brushed against her mother's through their neural link. What happens now? Sarah looked out at the garden world that had once been their intended destination. It seemed smaller now, less crucial to humanity's future. Now we build something new. Not an empire of control like the Federation, but a network of species growing together, learning from each other. The artifacts showed us it was possible. We proved it was necessary. The Federation ships vanished into hyperspace, leaving behind a new reality they had never imagined possible. Humanity had not just survived. They had evolved, adapted, and helped forge an alliance that would transform the galaxy. The children of Earth, once abandoned and desperate, had become the catalyst for a revolution that would break the chains of imposed limitation forever.